So our sadhana out here is so simple. This is the path of divine love. How do we increase our love for God? We use His names. We are singing His names. We are attaching our mind to His names. And while singing, you keep the form of God before you. So that will keep your mind in focus. So we do Rupa Dhyan meditation. We will also do it in a particular way. You have received the timetables, the schedules for the retreat. You will see there is also meditation there. So we will also be doing simple meditation. Alongside with that, the virtues of God, His unlimited divine attributes. The kirtans are full of these glories of God. So you sing them, you remember them, you contemplate over them. The divine pastimes of God, this will also be the basis of our meditation. And His divine abode, His divine saints, the Guru. So this divine realm of God, our endeavor is to let the mind remain there. So the personal interaction, don't allow any worldly topics to creep in. What is happening to the recession, whether it's getting lifted or deepening, etc., don't worry about that. Just keep the interaction totally spiritual. Next sutra, 57. Uttarasmat.
Uttarasmat.
Purva. Shreyaya. Bhavati. Narad ji now is referring to the three kinds of devotion. There is tamasic devotion in the mode of ignorance, where you are willing to harm a person for the sake of your devotion. You know this out of ignorance. Even now in villages in India it happens. They offer the animal to God, to Mother Kali as sacrifice, thinking the Divine Mother will be pleased by this sacrifice. So that is tamasic. Then rajasic, devotion in the mode of passion. There's lots of this. Some businessman builds a temple and he gives it the name Birla Mandir. Everybody know I have made this temple. This is done with the desire of prestige, of name and fame. And then there is sattvic devotion. So each devotion is higher than the previous. In this realm of spirituality, there are subsequently higher and higher and higher and higher and higher attainments. As we keep going, we find higher and higher levels of realization unlimitedly. There is never an end to it. There's one story that there was a saint called Sanatan Goswami. So a king got this information that Sanatan Goswami has got a paras stone. So paras is the mythical stone. If you touch it to iron, it turns it into gold. So he went to Sanatan Goswami and he said, "Oh saint, I have heard you have got paras." Sanatan Goswami said, "Yes, I do. Please give it to me." He said, "You know, it is in my bedroom, there's a dustbin, it is placed there." So the king went, he found that paras stone in his dustbin, he picked it up and he went off very happy. I've got a paras stone today, I can make as much gold as I like. So then he started thinking that why did this saint place the paras in a dustbin? That means he must be having something more valuable. So he went back to him and he said, "Oh saint, my curiosity is getting the better of me. if you have placed this stone in a dustbin, you must be having something more precious. Can you tell me what is that and how can I get it? Sanatan Goswami said, yes, O king, but I have a condition. You go and throw this stone back into the dustbin and come. Then you will be eligible. So the king with first he thought, should I not? Because we always want to increase our wealth, our treasure. Finally, he got convinced that if he has thrown it, he must be having something more valuable. He went and threw it back. And he came back and said, all right, give me that bigger treasure. Sanatan Goswami said, this is the name of God. You take this name of God. So Saint Kabir says, Kabira sab jag nirdhana, dhanvanta nahi koya, dhanvanta soi janiye, jahi prem dhan hoya. This whole world is poor. Nobody is rich. Neither Warren Buffett nor Mukesh Ambani. They are not rich. Then, dhanvanta soi janiye, jahi prem dhan hoy. That person is rich who has the treasure of love for God. So that is the highest treasure. That is the treasure we want out of the highest form of devotion. 58. Anyasmat.
Anyasmat.
Saulabhyam.
Saulabhyam.
Bhaktau.
Bhaktau.
Narad ji says, compared to the other paths to God, the devotee attains God very easily. Why? Because in the path of devotion, one is learning to surrender to God. So as we surrender, we receive His grace. And God's grace makes all the difference. Like somebody said, Rakhe Krishna, Mare ke. It's a Bengali saying, right? And Mare Krishna, Rakhe ke. If Krishna wishes to protect, then who can kill? And if Krishna decides to kill, then who can protect? So the devotee is surrendering to the Supreme Almighty. And by His grace, the path is made easy. So Narad ji says, compared to the other paths, there are such difficult paths. There is the path, actually the mind. Philosophers throughout history have contemplated on how to conquer this mind. Because everybody experiences that we are tormented by the mind. The mind is tormenting everyone. Desires, anger, greed, pride, hatred, jealousy. So the mind is tormenting. So different philosophers presented their different theories. See how difficult they found it. Sigmund Freud, the father of Western psychology, he said all these miseries of the mind are an irrevocable fact. You cannot do anything about it. It's programmed as a result of your growing up. Schopenhauer, Western philosopher, he said the mind is swinging between misery and happiness. There's nothing you can do about it. George Bernard Shaw, he said the only thing possible is that you engage the mind in some positive activity. An idle mind is a devil's workshop. You engage it in some positive activity, you will get some kind of relief. And then we have the Hatha yogis. The Hatha yogis, through force, they endeavor to conquer the mind. For example, there's the Agony Kriya. Just about 15 years ago, Swami Satyanand Saraswati did it. He was one of the greatest yogis in his times. He founded the Satyanand Yog Vidyalaya. So all of a sudden he left all that and he said, I am doing my own personal sadhana. So he went and did the Agony Kriya. The Agony Kriya, what you do is for 1 year, you practice with one fire. You're sitting close to that fire. The temperature is about 50 degrees centigrade. That would mean, let's say, about 127, 28 degrees Fahrenheit. So from morning, sunrise till sunset, they sit there. The next year, they make it 2 fires. And the 5th year, there are 5 fires. And the temperature there is 90 degrees centigrade, almost boiling point. And they sit there from morning till night for 1 full year. That's the Agony Kriya. But even this Agony Kriya, they strive so hard, but even this does not result in the conquest of the mind. Because God says this mind is made out of the material energy, Maya. And this material energy is my power. By your efforts, no yogi, jnani, muni, rishi, tapasvi, ascetic can conquer this Maya. Because if he has, it means he has conquered God. But in the path of divine love, in the path of devotion, we are surrendering to him. So he keeps bestowing his grace. And by his grace, this mind naturally gets conquered. You attach the mind to Manmohan, Sri Krishna. And when you attach it to Manmohan, it is automatically detached from the world. Last sutra for today, 59. Pramanantarasya apekshatvat svayam
svayam.
Now he's talking about proof. You know, in this modern era, everybody wants proof. Swamiji, if there's a God, what is the proof? This devotion, what is the proof? I don't have blind faith. Actually, the fact is that so many things in this world we accepted on blind faith. So many things. You read it in the book, all right, it's true. When we were small, the teacher made a form, he said, this is A. Everybody, we all accepted it as A. Did we question? But in the spiritual realm, we are not able to lower the pride of the intellect. I am so intelligent. It has to become clear to me, then I will accept it. So Narad ji knows this nature of human beings, that unless they get a proof, they will not accept. So he says, what is the proof? He says, bhakti will need no external proof. Your experience will prove it to you. Like, for example, somebody says, I am hungry. Really? Prove it? How can I prove it? Show me your hunger. I can't show you. Show me some parameters that will display your hunger. Medical science has got no such parameters. Now, why should I believe it, that you are hungry? My experience is telling me that I am hungry. And similarly, he has eaten food. The hunger is satiated. Now he says, I am not hungry. Prove it. What prove it? My experience is telling me my hunger is satiated. So that personal experience is the strongest proof. Similarly, our soul is yearning for contentment, for satisfaction, for bliss. And we've gone through lifetime after lifetime, that discontentment remains. No matter what we become, no matter where we go, the soul is hungry from within. And this devotion gives the soul such a wonderful spiritual experience, such a wonderful satisfaction, that the proof comes strongly from within. Now other may say, why do you have this deep conviction? How did you get it? Initially the conviction is weak because the experience has not come. And when the experience comes, that conviction becomes so strong. The whole world says, Prahlad, you are wrong. Don't worship Vishnu. Prahlad is not going to move one hair's breadth from his conviction, because his experience has proved it to him. The best analogy I can think of for this, which I like to give, is playing cricket. Many of the men will have played cricket or tennis. So in cricket, when you hit the bat with perfect timing, and the ball receives a perfect placement on the bat, the feeling tells you, this was a perfect shot. This is going to cross the boundary. And when the timing goes wrong slightly, your feeling tells you, in tennis as well, this was a phatta, something wrong here. So similarly, that bhakti, when we engage in it properly, putting the mind to God, the bliss we experience from within is such that we know, today my devotion went off very well. And there are other days when you sit in your worship room to meditate, but at the end you get up discontented. What happened today? Because the mind did not get focused, you did not experience that bliss of the soul, so the discontentment remained. So Narad ji says, this bhakti will give you the proof itself. You will not need any external proof.